Hey lovies, welcome back to my channel. What is that? Xtremetarot, where we do moon readings and zodiac readings. Today we're doing a zodiac reading for the sign of Capricorn. We're taking a look at what you most need to hear right now. So we're gonna do basically a little mystery reading. Your reading is gonna be determined by the roll of the die here. I have like 12 corresponding readings to each number in the die. So what reading does Capricorn most need right now? Number 9. Which is your life purpose. Okay, fun. So let's see, I feel like you could be, so if you're feeling a little aimless right now, and that you don't know where you want to turn or where you want to go here, you need some direction, or you feel like you have a calling for something, but you can't really put your finger on it, maybe this reading will help you to like ask some questions of yourself that will help narrow it down for you. So okay, we're gonna use, I just dropped. That's so funny because I have these readings, some of them like on my Instagram page, and this is the one I copied down right before I like did this reading. I like wrote this down like 5 minutes ago, so that's kind of funny that it came out. I almost was like, oh, I'll do it later, what are the chances? But oh, okay. So let's see, we're gonna use a Spirit Song Tarot for this. So the questions that we're gonna ask, well, let's just do them one at a time. Okay. So what would genuinely fulfill you, Capricorn, as far as your life purpose? And let's just like really quick talk about what is a life purpose. A life purpose is a calling and a reason for being. It could be tied to your career. It could be something that you just naturally do that you later like are able to parlay into a career of some sort. Even if, for instance, say you're somebody that's just like has a really bright, happy, fun personality, and like your calling is to just bring joy to people's lives, like, and you have a job that's just like you're a dental hygienist, for example, but like you go you know, into work every day, and all the like the kids or even just adults that are scared to like, oh, I'm scared to like, you know, get my teeth cleaned, like they're scared of the dentist, like you're able to like make them laugh and you know, kind of put them at ease. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it doesn't have to be that you're going to be a stand-up comic because you're good at making people laugh, but it could just be parlayed into a career that's like a little bit more run-of-the-mill. So this is just trying to find out like who you really are basically, and what you bring to the world and what you bring to the table in life. It doesn't have to be that like it's going to be a career like, oh, I'm intuitive, so I'm going to be a tarot reader, or like, oh, I'm funny, I'm going to be a stand-up comic. It doesn't have to be literal, but it could be like of use in whatever career path that you are currently in or that you will later have. So, all right. So what would genuinely fulfill you guys, Capricorn? What would genuinely fulfill Capricorn? We have the Page of Acorns. Okay, we have discovery and enthusiasm. We also have the Page of Feathers, exploration and discovery. So I feel like you're somebody that that has like almost like a curious mind. Like you're, what would genuinely fulfill you? Something where you're almost like experiencing new things, you're learning new things. You could be the type of person that gets bored doing the same old routine every day. It's like you need some excitement in your life. And learning new information, learning how to do different things, like having a job that's like a little bit different every day somehow, whether it's a job or whether this is just like something where, say you have a very routine job, like say you're like a computer programmer and you have a very, let's say you work at the post office and your job is the same every day. Let's use that as an example. So like a way that you could like find that fulfillment and genuinely connect with your purpose would be to, I don't know, like try like new hobbies a lot of the time, like try new crafts. Like this looks like a mad scientist working in a workshop, learning new things, learning new things, King of Feathers, learning about new things, reading books, or watching YouTube videos. Like you don't have to read nowadays, like there's so many other options. You could listen to books on tape, listen to podcasts about things that you're interested in, whether it be like actual crafting or like building things, or I don't know, like if you're interested in psychology and learning about, because we have the King of Swords here, like what makes people tick and different personality types, like whatever it is, like I feel like that's what is, if you feel like a sense of lack, I mean, I think Spirit's encouraging you that maybe like you're not supposed to like settle on one thing. What would fulfill you is to always kind of have like a bunch of different little projects going at once, a bunch of different little interests going, something like that. What's your soul's personality? We have the Moon. Interesting. imagination and perception. This is coming through as an owl. The moon is making me think that you're a person that has a lot of depth. You're a person that has been through a lot of changes. So almost, and maybe like a lot of loss here with the Three of Feathers, release and recovery. So you could be somebody that's like been through a divorce or something, for example, because I just saw the Queen of Pentacles, like a heartbreak. That's maybe making me think of like a divorce. So anyway, oh, all right, that Queen of Pentacles just like flew out. So anyway, with the moon, this is like, what is your soul's personality? Your soul's personality is like heavily based in emotions. Your soul's personality, I'd say, is an old soul, with the owl being portrayed here. Your soul's personality is someone that's very independent, I would say. Imagination and perception. You could be very perceptive, very able to see into a situation. You could be intuitive here with the moon, and like this owl imagery on the card here. But I feel as though you're very sharp and you see through people, and you're very perceptive. Like this, I think I already said that, but like you see through a situation, like you see through people, like you could almost tell like who's a good person and who's not. You can tell when someone's lying or someone's not being completely honest. But your soul's personality basically is somebody that is an old soul, has some wisdom, is very smart and able to read the room, that has maybe been through a lot of hardships in their life, but is at their core an emotionally based person. That's what I would say. So how aligned are you with your life purpose? We have the Page of Cups, another page. So I feel like you're sort of at the beginning is what this would say, where you maybe feel like inspired to do things, maybe to even go off the beaten path somehow, to try new things here. Like I feel like you do get inspired to do different things, and intuition is also coming through on this card as well. So it's like I'm getting a sense that you feel sort of a bug, like you feel like an itch, like you're itching to try something new, or you're itching to spring into something new. But we have the Shadow here and the Seven of Cups here on the bottom of the deck, self-empowerment and ambition. So it's like you're almost hindering your soul's calling here by, I know that sounds kind of heavy and stupid the way I just said that, but like you're almost blocking out what your intuition is telling you by maybe trying to be a little bit more practical and telling yourself like that I'm never gonna like be rich that way, or I'm never like your ambition is warring with what your heart's calling, or something like that, where you're interested in trying something new or going in a different direction, but you're not able to like pull the plug and do that because of some sort of fears here with the Shadow card. How aligned are you with your life purpose, and how can you better align with your life purpose? Love. This is the Lovers, choice and trust. It's like, just go for it, I would say. We have the Emperor here too, and I think Spirit's saying like, I have a card in one of my advice decks that's like, when you're truly following your joy, like things will align, or Spirit will like kind of step in and give you some help when you're truly following your joy. It's not exactly that, but it's something along those lines. So I feel like Spirit's like, choice, it's your choice if you're gonna like trust in this or not. Again, I see this Page energy. I feel like you could be somebody that almost is wanting to be like, your mind is telling you like, I want to be like a boss, or I want to be like a master of something, or I want to be like powerful. But it's like at the same time your heart has this sort of like page, like this energy of curiosity, of trying new things, of like being a student, like a perpetual student, but like your brain is telling you that you want to be a master, if that makes sense. And I think Spirit's saying like every master has to start as a student. It's almost like you want to skip the student process because you feel that you should. It's like your fears are getting the best of you here. So what is your soul's personality too? Your soul's personality is something right now that's like kind of like stuck in fear, and is a little bit wary of straying too far from their path, because it's almost like, yeah, with the Emperor and the Knight of Acorns, and look, I see the Devil like poking out again. it's almost like you feel like you have to choose one or the other. And I think Spirit's saying like, no, when you choose yourself, like success follows. Like when you're following your joy, like success is following you too. It works together, sort of a thing. Yeah, but that whole thing about before you're going to be a master, you have to be a student. It's like you almost want to skip that step of being a student and just have become the master like right away. But I think Spirit's like, well, all this learning process is very valuable. All the things you'll learn while you're in the student energy is very valuable. I feel like you could have almost like a big head a little bit. Sorry. But you could have a sense where like maybe you don't even realize that you have like a big head, where it's almost like Spirit wants you to try to humble yourself a little bit in order to like get into that student energy, so you can have an open mind and learn things and grow in a way that you wouldn't be able to if you stick with the mentality that you're currently in, which I feel like is one of a little bit like caring what other people think and wanting to almost be seen a certain way. I think Spirit's saying like, let go of the influences of how other people are looking at you. Yeah, perception, how other people are looking at you. You're a little bit too concerned with what other people are thinking, and Spirit's like, get focused more on like the fun of like trying new things. Maybe you also feel like, I was getting like an old soul vibe. Maybe you feel like you're getting old and it's like too late, and it's like, okay, like enough time has ran out, like I have to like figure out what I'm doing like right now. But Spirit's like, no, you don't. Like there's plenty of time. Like get in that student energy and just follow the fun. Like I feel like Spirit's like, you're trying to like think of a business plan when you should be like painting a picture, like, or whatever like your thing would be. Like, does that make sense? Okay, so let's see, what are your strengths? We have the Queen of Cups. Yeah, and the Two of Cups, union and harmony, peace and compassion. This soft feminine energy. You could honestly have psychic gifts here with the Moon and the Queen of Cups. You don't have to. Like, I know some people get annoyed when people say that. Like, one time someone commented that on my reading. Like, I'm sick of hearing that I'm intuitive. But a lot of times, like, before you realize that you're like, you have psychic gifts sometimes, like, but remember how I was saying you could read the room or something like that? It could be coming through like that in a very claircognizant way, where, because didn't I see the King of Swords or something, I think, poking out? Seven of Swords, preparation, resourcefulness. I feel like you are very mentally, sorry, I'm just looking at some of these cards. I feel like you are very mentally astute, and you are able to read a room, and you are able to see through people and read the situations and things like that. And that could come through as like claircognizance, where you just know things and you're able to feel the way a situation is, but you don't recognize that it's intuition and that it's like intuitive, because it's just the way that you've always thought, and the way you've always been. So it's like you could be without knowing it. That's like this girl I work with. I'm not going to say names, but like this girl that I work with who is like, what is she? She's an air sign. And she doesn't really believe in all that stuff, I would say. Or she's kind of like on the fence. Like, she's not a believer. She would never be like, oh, I think I'm psychic. But like, I think that she might be claircognizant because of the way that she just is very perceptive about other people. And she would, if you said that to her, she'd probably be like, well, what are you talking about? But I don't know. I feel like I recognize the signs. I could be wrong. I'm not saying like, I'm the all-knowing over here, but I wouldn't be surprised if I found out that she was a little claircognizant, let's just say it like that. Like, and that could be you, where it's like you have some sort of like abilities that you just attribute like, oh, that's the way everybody thinks, but I don't think it is. Okay, and how can you develop your strengths? That's Seven of Cups. Okay, I think like what you're afraid of is like the way to develop your strengths. Like, again, with this Page of Feathers, exploration and discovery. Explore all these different options, explore all these different, like, whatever you want to do. Like, I don't know if this is necessarily about career or just like hobbies. Let's see, the Knight of Crystals, the Nine of Acorns. Like, what is this about? Like, what do we need to explore here? I just want to get one clarifier, and then, oh, I could get clarified. Oh. The Tower, release and revelation. With that, I'm sort of getting, I don't know what I'm getting. And Temperance, explore. I feel like this is not so much about exploring certain hobby. It's like more so like, how am I trying to say this? This is more about being open to whatever comes at you in life, without a fear of like things crashing down. Like it's like trying things, whatever. Like if you get, it's almost like that movie Yes Man, which I haven't even really seen. I've seen it a few times, like snippets of it. I don't think I've ever sat down and watched the whole thing, but where it's like you are too like saying no to every opportunity, like just say yes to everything, where it's almost like that, because it's almost like spirit wants to grow you through you facing your fears or something like that. Spirit wants you to try things in order to see that either that you're good at them. I feel like you have a fear of like things crumbling and crashing down, a fear of like being embarrassed or something like that. So in order to like develop your strengths, which is this compassionate, loving energy here, maybe even your psychic gifts, I think spirit is wanting you to just try a bunch of different things and like be comfortable, become comfortable with the idea that like it might fail and it might not be for you, and then you'll just try something new. Like get comfortable with change. Yes, yes, okay. I'm sorry, like I'm getting it now. To just get comfortable with change and having, because remember how I was saying something at the beginning where it's like you may be meant to like have a sort of job that is a little bit more routine, but you're going to find your fulfillment from like different hobbies and different things that you do. So I think spirit's wanting you to just get back into that aspect of yourself, or just learn new things and be comfortable with the idea that like you might like have to hop careers or something like that. I don't know. There's something like that where I think spirit wants you to get used to the idea of change, because it's like you have a very rigid mindset, I would say, and spirit wants you to like loosen up your mindset. So that's a good way to more let this heart-led energy out, where you're really like following the things that you're passionate about. Okay. And what are your blocks or defects? We have the shadow. Yeah, it's like exactly the energy that was coming out before, like self-empowerment and ambition. It's like I am getting a sense that you feel that you should be farther along and you should be more successful. And again, this freaking page of swords, it keeps like sticking out. Exploration and discovery. It's like you're afraid to try, you're afraid to fail, you feel like things have gone on and you feel like things have gone on maybe in a stagnant way for too long. But like think about it, this is the number 9 reading, which is associated with the 9th house. This is all about expanding. This is Sagittarius energy, this is Jupiter energy, this is an energy of expansion, but it's an energy of expanding the mind and being more open-minded. Okay, so like they say like Jupiter energy is like a higher mind, like doing things just for the fun of it, like whereas like the other representation of the mind is a Mercury energy, and a Mercurial energy is something that's like a Virgo energy, more focused on details, more focused on like the everyday financial planning. Maybe you're really good at that, or maybe not, I don't know, but like you're a Capricorn, so I would think maybe you are. But anyway, spirit's wanting you to sort of get out of that energy. And it's also a perfectionist energy, and it's a very self-critical energy. So I think spirit is saying like you're your own worst critic here. And what about doing things just for the fun? What about playing like you do when you're like a little kid, kind of a thing, you know? And how do you overcome this? We have 8 of feathers, courage and solutions. Figure out what your worst fears are and come up with some sort of solution for them. If you're trying to explore your curiosities, but you're worried about your finances and your everyday, maybe like come up with some sort of like routine, use the strategic mind that you do have, put it to good use, where you come up with some sort of routine where you're not wasting your day, like, you know, just maybe just crafting and making, I don't know, I'm trying to think, making soap all day, and then you're neglecting your responsibilities. Like I think spirit's like maybe whatever you're worried about, whatever, like, oh, I'm gonna look stupid, or it's too late in life, or oh, everyone's gonna laugh at me, like start something in secret. And that's something I just recently did with, like, I have this channel, which I'm sorry, like, doesn't really got too many bites. Like, it is what it is. I don't know why. I don't know if it's because it's like a self-sabotage thing. I don't know if it's just because, I really don't know. But like I started my other channel, which is just like for Aries only, and like I didn't really tell anybody about it or anything, and it just had a lot more success more quickly. And I'm like, I wonder if it was because the pressure was off and my energy, I wasn't really expecting anything. I was just more so doing those readings for myself, and I just didn't want everyone to look at them. And then all of a sudden it started like not blowing up, but I feel like I'm getting a lot more success and interactions from people on that site than I am on this one. So it could be something as simple as that, like start something, but don't tell one person that you know about it, and just see what happens out there. And in that way you can like put out your work, like your earlier work, because a lot of times, like it's that whole like student master thing where it's like you're gonna be a student, you're gonna be starting out as a student, you're gonna suck at first like a little bit, you're gonna like look back on these videos like a year from now, if you're making videos, for example, or if you're making TikToks or whatever you're doing, I'd be like, oh my god, like look at how horrible that was, like to where I am now. So it's like you have to like give yourself permission, have the courage, by the way, also to like face these fears and to overcome these fears. Look at fears as an opportunity to expand. Be willing to humble yourself and look stupid, even just to yourself or whoever, to whoever like happens to like glance at your work. Or you don't even have to put it out there yet. You could just like do it for fun. But yeah, I feel like you have to have the courage to try and to like be willing and have a certain willingness to look stupid in front of people or something like that. And nobody probably even really cares. Like, I mean, and like I was saying, like I was getting that Mercury energy where it's like you're your own biggest critic. And I don't think people are really looking at you that hard. And if they are, they can get a life. Like, I mean, give me a break. Like, why aren't they worried about their own life? If they're like hating on you or whatever. I don't know. All right, so let's get some advice here. How can you get the most out of your life right now? Oh, take a break. A life's work, not a season. Get off the treadmill. Okay. So again, I feel like you should be doing more. I feel like you're like a result oriented person, where I think Spirit's like, let's get into that more process oriented, where you're playing just to play, just for the fun of it, just for the effect it will have on your energy, just because it'll make you feel good. It's not about like cranking out content. It's not about figuring out a way to make the most money. It's about figuring out what resonates with your soul. Figuring out the kind of person that you are, maybe doing some sort of self-work like that. But yeah, how can you get the most out of your life is to like not take it so seriously, to look at it from a lighter perspective, and to let go of some of these fears here. What is a source of support for you on your path? Let's just see. Okay, we have a mirror, the mirror card, who or what is triggering you. So source of support on your path are your fears. The things, it's Spirit saying you're running from your fears, and Spirit's like saying you're going to learn so much from these fears. Like you're going to face this uncomfortability. You're going to get triggered. You're going to feel embarrassed, or it's going to bring things up. The breathing rose here. Look, heart healing, emotions, connection, and time eases. You could have a lot of pain inside of you. A lot, honestly, because whenever I see the rose in these decks, it makes me think of like, that one card that's like, it's happening for you, not to you. It's expanding your heart. There's a lot about heart healing. Yeah, heart healing. So the source of support on your path that you have is yourself. And I feel like it's also your biggest blockage, which is the same for all of us, honestly. So I'm not surprised that came out. But it's like whatever triggers you, whenever you feel scared to do something, I think Spirit's like really sit with it and think about, okay, why is this scaring me? What past, oh my God, I'm sorry. Woo. That was, okay, crazy. What past pain is this bringing up? And like, so for example, say you are afraid of posting something. I guess social media is like the easiest example to use. You're like, oh, like, what if I post something on TikTok and nobody watches it? Like, and what is that and then why is that triggering you? What is the really the source of it? Follow the source down. Even here, it's looking like it's talking about heart healing, but she's holding her solar plexus chakra, which is the center of shame and embarrassment. So maybe this is like, you used to be made fun of in school and you feel like a loser and that nobody's going to want to like look at your stuff. Like nobody likes me. That's like the kind of like the core. So maybe something, I posted this video and nobody watched it, but it's like my first video and I'm just starting out, but I'm thinking like, see, I knew it. I shouldn't have done this. And you're already like failing. You're letting your fears get the best of you because you don't want to feel this uncomfortable feeling again. Does that make sense? and you don't want to feel this uncomfortable feeling again. So you immediately like are like, I have to shut this down. Blah, blah, blah. But I think Spirit's saying like, no, these moments are when you have to like push through and be like, is it that nobody likes me, or is it that I just posted my first video of all time and I'm just, it's the TikTok algorithm that I have to just be consistent, and then maybe like I'll get more plays or more views, however that works. I don't really know much about it. But you know what I'm saying? It's like, we tell ourselves it's a reason of like, see, nobody likes me. But it's like, do you think people are like gonna be going through TikTok, see your video and be like, that girl looks like a loser, I'm not watching this video, bye? Like, no. Like look at it realistically like that. Like with the courage and solutions card, like look your fears in the face and don't be just, I feel like there's almost a sense here of like, when you feel a sort of embarrassment to like put a hand up, like and to like contract instead of like expand into it. And this is what this whole ninth house energy is about. It's expansion. And that's what your life purpose is about like expanding to find what fills your heart with joy and stuff like that. But in order to do that, it's like there needs to be that cleansing out of the residual triggering like fears and shame, whatever it is for you. I feel like it could be shame here. She's holding her solar plexus and the heart chakra, where there is a lot of pain in your heart. But it's like, yeah, like using these as ways to expand instead of contract. We're so used to like, when we feel like, we start feeling like a feeling of shame, even if it's from the past, to just be like, and like try to not think about it and stuff it down, squirm. It makes us uncomfortable. We don't want to think about it. But if you can like learn to sit with it, realize that, you know, time eases, like this is saying, emotions, connection, heart healing, time eases. When you feel triggered, being able to like sit with it and let it flow, and think about this thing from the past when nobody liked you, and we're just going to stick with this example, and cry about it and be like, you know, that sucked, that was so embarrassing. But then at the same time, when you're done crying, you notice that you feel that feeling of like, like, you know what I mean? It's cathartic. It gets it out, better out than in. And it might not be one time. It might be 10 times. It might be 20 times that you have to cry about the same thing. But eventually, you'll start feeling better. And something that you'll notice, like maybe when you start crying, is like, listen to what your voice is telling you. Like, see, you're such a loser, you should have never done this, why did you do this, like da 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 da, like. And then like what happens is now you're in the 10th time of crying about the same thing, like, and you're like, okay, this is enough, like, you're not a loser. Like, it's like your voice starts to change, or you start to notice it and become aware of it, and then you can start to change it yourself, where you're like, okay, maybe you're not a loser, maybe you just really haven't been consistent posting on this TikTok, and that's something that you can change and work on. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it's change what you're saying to yourself. Yes, maybe there is something that needs a little tweaking here, but maybe it's not just that I'm a loser and it should be a different person posting TikToks. Like, it could just be that am I really putting my best foot forward? Am I really doing TikToks on a topic that is like close to my heart? Or am I doing it on something that I think will get a lot of views? Like, whatever it is, like whatever needs tweaking, it could be anything. So just try a bunch of different things. Okay, and what can you focus on now? Okay, that's too many. But yes, you see how this says yes? Oh, look, yes, no, and after the rain. Okay, but I think the fact that the yes came out, that's so funny because, wait, I did a reading on my other channel. This was one of the cards, and the yes and the no came out in that reading. So I guess that's just like the energies right now. But maybe focus on having boundaries. Something is what I'm getting, because that was kind of what the vibe of that reading was, where I feel like though it could be the opposite for you, where you're like almost like a no person, and I think Spirit's wanting you to become like a yes person, or at least balance that out a little bit better. But what can you focus on now? What can you focus on now, Capricorns? Okay, this is 2, just 1. But oh my god, I just saw protection. So like there is something about boundaries. And this said call back your power. Sorry, I feel like I'm like nonstop talking on this reading and you're probably like, shut up, like pull the card. But oh my god, I just lost it. Wait, call back your power. Oh, cut the cords. I feel like I just lost it. That was a good one though, what I was just gonna say. Oh, I think call back your power is like to re-empower yourself by realizing it's not outside circumstances, it's just what you're doing. So you need to like look in the mirror and give an honest assessment and be like, have I been putting my best foot forward? And if not, guess what? You can today. Like, it's it's like we just are like, ugh, and we like sit and we think about all the times that we didn't do what we feel like we should have done. We let all this time pass by. We're getting old. It's something like that where you feel like, oh, I should be more successful than where I am now. But it's like, okay, start today. Like, who cares? Like, at the end of the day, when you're successful, it's not going to matter like what age you started. You're not going to be like, oh, I wish I would have started earlier. Like, no, just start now. You probably learned a lot more like emotional lessons or something along the way that like maybe you couldn't like pursue your career because you had a lot of heavy stuff going on or something. Like it could be that. What can you focus on now? Capricorn. Oh, with these two, I just want one. What can Capricorn focus on now? Okay. We have trust your path. If you knew you would be supported, what would you do? So just almost pretend maybe like, because I feel like you have a good imagination, but I feel like your imagination almost works against you where you imagine all these bad things. So do that thing where you try to imagine like, what if something really good happened? Like, what if like my spirit guide just like floated down and was like, hey girl, like, by the way, like you're gonna have success at this in 1.5 years, but you have to put in consistent work for like 1.5 years. Like, what would you do if you had a guarantee? They showed you a movie of it and they're like, oh, look at you, like raking in the dough, like monetized on TikTok or whatever it is. You'd be like, oh my God, so okay, like let me just get to work. Like you would just like no. And you would just do it. Oh look, divine orchestration, helpers in the subtle realm. So maybe they're like, we would if we could, but you got to do it yourself. You got to work through these emotions here. That just is weird that came out again. What did this say? Rose without thorns, you have a right to your joy, peace, and sweetness of life, but it was in reverse. So I feel like right now there's a lot of thorns that maybe need to be worked through. And that's what you could focus on, like kind of walking your path, waiting for things to come up to trigger you and working through them. Maybe keep a journal, and just keep a list of like what your biggest fears are and like, oh, I'm a loser and nobody likes me. And then you know that, and then you can watch out for any negative self-talk that's going to come up and be like, by the way, like you're a loser. And you'd be like, actually, I'm not a loser. Like I was a loser. I'm just kidding. But like now I changed my ways, or I was never a loser. I was just somebody, like I was just kidding when I said that, like just because like if technically like in school or something, like you were considered like unpopular, like that's what I'm saying. But now like I'm out of high school, like that doesn't even matter anymore. Like what does it care who's really looking at me and who cares what they see? Like I'm living my own life here. But like, not that I think like you were ever a loser. I wasn't saying it like that. Probably came out wrong and I shouldn't have said that like that. I'm sorry. Please don't be mad at me. But you know what I mean? But like have like a mentality of like, you know what, I'm actually not a loser. I was just like, you know, my life was going in a different direction for a while. Like come up with some sort of neutral thing to like replace like I'm a loser. Like actually I'm out here trying, like I'm trying my best, or I'm turning over a new leaf, like I'm heading in a new direction now, like whatever, like you know what I mean? Like acknowledge whatever made you feel shame or whatever in the past, and just, you know, recognize the fact that, you know, you were in that energy and now you're moving out of that energy and you're turning over a new leaf, and it doesn't have to continue to define you. You can change and become something new today. Okay, and the last thing, theme of your calling. What is the theme of your calling here? What is the theme of Capricorn's calling? Lineage of the rose. Moved by the goddess, here for this, soul call, and gather. Okay, and then the sacred waters, nourishment, replenishment, health, rest, and self-care. Look, a new story, you decide, alignment is coming together. And what lights you up, I feel like spirit's like, we're not really giving this away, like we want you to find out. And I know that's kind of like a cop-out and I'm so sorry, but I feel like it's something that you're not even going to be able to really see. The theme of your calling is a soul call. It's like it's the kind of thing no one can, you can never watch a reading and me or any other reader to be like, oh, by the way, this is your calling to be like a massage therapist. Like I just feel like it's not really your calling unless you figure it out for yourself. And honestly, I should have known that, but I think spirit's just like reminding you, moved by the goddess, which is like, to me, meaning moved by feminine energy to whatever calls you to like check into it. Just sort of like kind of give up the control of your life a little bit and just be heart-led. I think it said that. Oh no, it didn't say that. It said moved by the goddess, here for this, soul call, and gather. So it's like, let yourself be heart-led, let yourself be willing to face your fears, let yourself be brave. I feel like you're a little bit scared, but you know, be brave. The hardest thing in this world is just to live in it. And, you know, I'm sure embarrassing things happen to you, whether you're chasing your dreams or not. I'm sure, like, it's not really going to matter, as at least you'll be following your dreams, and at least you'll be like having fun, I should say. Even if you don't know what your dream is yet, just try a bunch of new things. Like, watch things on, like, if you're ever watching something on like a TikTok reel or something, or a reel or something like that, and you're like, oh, I want to try that. Even if it's just cooking a meal, even if it's just like, oh, look at how we paint this picture, it's so easy, like a little craft or something that you see, a way to fix something in your house, like whatever it is, try it. Like, just, okay, like, let me try this, let me do this, like a new way to organize your shelves, try it. Like, I feel like Spirit's like, find the fun in your life again, kind of a thing. So I think that's all we're gonna get today, guys. That was like a lot. I talked a lot, but that was a fun reading. So I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will catch you in the next one. Okay, bye.